Hello, 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 everybody. Me again. Week 32. Oh, my goodness me. And, oh, they're all looking absolutely amazing. Bit weird for me today. It's Saturday. But I was doing the tags yesterday and I got on a little bit of a roll. And last night I was sat planning the next few tags and I thought, do you know what? I've got nothing really on tomorrow. I'm going to get up and crack on because you ever like a week where you've not really had your mojo? And I've got my mojo. This one's an early recording because we're in August now, so I'm on holiday, actually having a couple of weeks off. So I thought I'd get a little bit ahead of the game, get these ones recorded. Got some really nice ones coming up. I'm very, very excited. I know people keep asking me where do I keep getting my ideas from, and that was one of the whole points about this year's project, was the fact that you can just respond to anything that you see anywhere at all, and then just come up with some new ideas. So this week we are on our stitching week. So I thought we would do lazy daisies. It's the summer, daisies are everywhere. So let's crack on and do some lazy daisies. So you need to choose yourself a colour. Makes me giggle now that whenever I seem to go for a colour, pink seems to feature in there when, as most of you know, I keep saying that I don't like pink, but I actually think deep down I probably do like pink. They're not like the proper like in your face pinks. They're just really, really, I call them mucky colours. I absolutely love a mucky colour. So let's get our background. So I don't know about everybody else, but I have certain fabrics that I always seem to come back to that I really, really like. I've got this deep burgundy that I thought would be quite nice to have the daisies on, and then this just fell out my stash, which is my green, which I used for the bullion stitch. So it's quite a way back, and originally I thought about doing them on there because I thought, oh, we could just go full on pinks, but I actually think they're probably going to pop a little bit more on the green. Oh, you see my brain started going already. I think too much. Shouldn't think, should just do. Let's crack on. Not thinking, we are doing. We're not faffing. It's not a faffy Friday for those of you out there that are faffers. Not a faffy Friday. We're on it. We're on it and we're excited because we get to spend some time stitching. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so I've got my background. Now the question is, do I put a little bit of the red on? Do we just go for a little pop of, quite like that, little pop of the red, quite like it folded round. Oh, what the heck. Let's go for a bit of the pop of the red, but I'm actually going to do it a little bit differently. Don't think I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to create a tab. So I'm actually going to start with this. So what I'm going to do, just to zhuzh it up a little bit, I'm going to put my right sides together. Just grab one of my threads. Go a little bit further up, slightly off centre. Compositionally, that's a lot better. And then I'm just going to do a running stitch. I've done this before where you sort of make a really nice edge. So do a running stitch. I hope everybody's well. Bit weird this because I'm doing it quite a bit in advance. So I have no idea what sort of situation we're in, but hopefully by the time you get to watch this, at least here in the UK, they might have eased lockdown a little bit. You never know. Okay, so then I can fold that back over so I get a really, really nice neat edge. And then I'm going to fold that back. I'm going to stick it out a little bit. I'm going to create a little tab. Just do a bit of finger ironing. Much prefer finger ironing than actual ironing. Just pin it in place. You don't have to do this. I just got a little bit of a bee in my bonnet that I wanted to use the pink and then, or the maroony colour, and then it was a little bit like, ooh, not quite sure if that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to do another little running stitch up here that then will fasten that bit on the back. Oh, I really do feel fired up today. This is a nice feeling. This is the feeling that I normally have most days, especially when it comes to stitching. Get that fire in your belly, as my mum used to say. Fire in your belly and you're invincible. Nobody can stop you at all. Nobody. Okay. Right, there we go. Nice start to our tag. A little bit of an edge on. Okay. Right, then we'll get to the actual bit of the tag this week, which is a lazy daisy stitch. So this is a chain stitch, but rather than having them as connected chains, you have them as singular chains, and then you make a daisy. Okie dokie. Right, there we go. Right, so I might start with this colour. So you need to decide where you want the centre of your daisy. And we're just going to do a chain stitch. So let's bring it in a little bit. Hopefully the camera will play nicely. So I'm going to start up here. So you come up in the centre. You create a little loop. You go back down the centre, and then where you want the end of your chain to be, then you just pull. Now you don't want to pull too tight because you want to create a petal, and then all you do is just then go down the other side of your loop. Oops. There we go, we've made a petal, and that's all we do. Go back in the centre. Oops. Don't want to get your tension too tight on your thread. Make your loop. Back in at the bottom, up at the top. Make sure that thread goes behind. Pull it gently so it creates our petal, and then to fix it you just hop over that thread and go back down the other side. So you've got like a little stitch. Oh, there we go. Little stitch just there at the top end. Okay. So I'm going to create another one. Make your loop, create that stitch. So I've got my little loop, pull it gently, create your petal. So I've created my petal, and then I'm just going to go down the other side of that, and that catches it down. So it's up to you how many petals. I quite like odd numbers. I think they work quite nice. And obviously you can do these any size whatsoever. The trick is just getting that tension just right so it leaves your petal shape. So if you pull it too much, you end up with a line. I know people have mentioned before about birds, and I've always said I can't hear them. I can hear the crows that are outside. We've got a couple of them at the moment that keep coming and using the bird bath in the back garden. They're very messy when it comes to having a bath. Okay, so there is our little daisy. Now you can leave them like that. You could stitch stems on, but I found the other day got really, really late, and I wanted a reason to use these. Absolutely teeny, teeny, tiny linen buttons. So that's my little finger. That's how big they are. They are so teeny, teeny, tiny. They're absolutely adorable. So I wanted a use for them. So I'm going to pop them in the middle of my little daisies. Oops. I said about tension. Don't pull your tension too hard. So linen buttons, I get these from all over, online, looking at like eBay and places like that, but vintage fairs here in the UK are really, really good for them. They're not cheap, but sometimes you can just happen to pick up some. The other reason that I really, really like them is because they're linen buttons, you can dye them. So I'm just looking at this thinking, oh God, it's a bit white compared to my pink. So I have some dyes called Kohinoor dyes. So depending on what it looks like when I've done quite a few, it might look okay. But I might just paint them a little bit, just to knock that colour back. Sometimes it's quite nice just to do it with, oh sorry, I didn't realise I was gone off screen then, to do it with tea or coffee can be really, really nice to do. So I'll put the button on afterwards because then the petals go behind. This is also really, really nice to do in lots and lots of different types of thread, and you can do bigger ones and then really play with the actual stitch. So if we go for a slightly bigger one this time, so I've gone for a thicker thread. This one I think is it's probably a 5 crochet cotton. So I'm doing it, oh gosh, sorry, I keep forgetting where the camera is. I do apologise. So I'm going to go for my petals. I'm actually going to go onto my little tab. That'd be quite cute. There we go. I love Lazy Daisy. I think it's such a pretty stitch. Beautiful if you're doing embroideries based on gardens or anything like that. I use this a lot in some of my own work when I'm doing my little landscapes, just to intersperse them out and about. You don't have to do them as a full daisy. It doesn't have to, even though it's called a lazy daisy, you don't have to do a daisy. I'll get a piece of paper. So there's different things that you could do. So if you really want to play around with it, you can do your chain stitch. So if you imagine that's your chain, and then the bit that comes up here, rather than just going over like that, one of the things that you can do is take your stem down. You can actually end up making them look a little bit like tulips. You could do a long fly stitch and then pop a little daisy in there. You could then even add on to that and add some little daisies just on there. It could be, go that way around, you do 3 and then have a little stem, and then you could even make some become little leaves. It could be a little meandering line that you do, and you could have symmetrical little chains going off it, or random. So again, it's another one of those stitches that is just so versatile. Really, really nice if you do them. And then here you could pop little French knots. When you get here, you could come back and pop a bullion. There's no reason why you couldn't put a bullion inside one. So many options. See, now I've drawn all that, I'm thinking I've gone a little bit boring just doing daisies. But you know me, I might even end up doing another tag if I'm sat this evening and I think, oh, do you know what, I quite like some of those ones. Okay, so this one we're going to do a little bit different. So let's make our daisy. Oops. Oh, there's the crow. I can hear those. Yep, very noisy man or lady. Probably a lady. She's probably telling him off. Right, so I've come up. We'll just do this a little bit slower. So you go back in at the bottom, make your stitch, make sure the thread goes round your needle, pull it through, don't get it too tight, and then just catch it down just to the other side. Okay, so we've gone a little bit of a bigger daisy this time. So what we can do now is we can start adding other little bits in. Just tie that off. There we go. Okay, grab another thread. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to do a double. So I'm going to come back up. Start with this one, so I've got a knot behind that other one. Back up, there we go. Back up there. And I'm going to do a chain inside the chain that I've just done, so it's a little bit smaller. So we're getting like a double. This is lovely to do if you want to do contrasting colours. I'm just going to keep mine all the same. All different shades of pinks, I think, for this. Okay. So the stitch is the same. The tension is the bit that you have to check out. But like I've said with all the other videos, if you want to do this in a hoop because you find it a little bit easier, just pop your fabric into the hoop, draw around your tag so you know the sort of size that you're working on, and then you can cut it out and attach it to your tag afterwards. Okay, so I've left quite a big gap in the middle of mine because I know that I'm going to put my button in there. After they could all match up, and like I say, you could finish it with a French knot in the middle. Could be a little bead, but it's just so pretty. And then you can really start playing with different things. So you could add a pistol stitch so that you've got like little I don't know what they're called. I want to say antennae, but that's on insects. The little bits that have the pollen and stuff on in the middle. So there we've got our little double one. If I get my little button, put that in the middle. Do a tiny little just a cross stitch just in the middle. I would normally do something like a French knot or something like that, and I might come back and do it, but these really little buttons, they're quite hard to stitch through because there's only a middle bit that you can actually stitch through. Oh, it's looking cute. I quite like the doubles. See, with that one now, I feel like I need to add a little bit more. So, because I've got this light pink, one of the things I can do is just come from behind the button. So your pistol stitch is a bit like a French knot. So you point your thread away from your needle, wrap it round 3 or 4 times, and then go back down where you want the knot to appear. Whereas a French knot, you go back down the hole that you've just done. This is the bit I think that gets me most fired up about stitching, is you think you have a bit of a plan in your head as to how you're going to do something, and because you've not got the pressure, I know you're making a tag, but you're not actually making something for somebody or for something. It sort of gives you that freedom. to start playing with things. And I know that while I've been doing these tags, my own personal work has changed so much, just because I've given myself the time and the permission, I suppose, to play, to absolutely just play and just enjoy stitching. And I think that is the most exciting thing, really, about stitching. It's exciting. Fire in your belly. Love it. Oh, look at that. That's so much prettier just with that little bit. And then obviously you can come back in. Oh, come on, stitchy thing. If you've got like a bit of thread left, and you could just come back in and just scatter around little French knots. The French knot is just the same as the pistol stitch. So you point your thread away, needle away from the hole, thread away from the hole, wrap it round, and then go back down the hole. There we go. Going back down that hole. And then it leaves you with a little knot. We've done this before on previous videos. So you can always go back and have a look. There we go. So tie that one off at the back. So that's our lazy daisy for this week. I'm probably going to do a little bit more stitching on this. I had saved myself a little bit of tatting from when I did my brooch, and I might actually pop that down on there because it sort of fits in with the lazy daisy, or it might go at the bottom for them all to maybe grow out of, or something. That might go on. I don't know. We don't really need to add anything this week, but because I've got that dark bit there, I quite like that. So that's going to be our tag for this week, which is going to be your lazy daisy. So I really hope you have a lovely day. I hope everything's fine where you are, and I will see you as usual next Friday. Love, hugs, and happy stitching. See you soon.